Good morning, guys. A very good morning to each and every one of you. And welcome to FYI. We are happy you are here. We apologize that we were off with some of our other programs. We were just simply exhausted at our end after a heavy weekend. There's nothing else to blame. But sheer exhaustion. But we're happy to be back with you guys. We're happy that you guys are here. And the technicians who are on duty, do let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear this morning. Do let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear. We want to make sure as well that we're on all of the pages and places that matters. And so, as we come in, we invite you guys to share the live, to smash that emoji button wherever you folks are joining us from. Do that big favor for us. Share the live, smash that emoji button, and we are going to prevail upon you folks to partner with us as well so that we can continue to bring you guys credible and valid information. These programs are paid for by you, the viewers, you, the listeners, and we can't do it without you folks. To put it simply, we just can't do it without you folks. I find that our color is off like a tad bit. Our color. We're gonna try to rectify that. But that being said, folks, just ensure showing Claire Capel and Gwyneth Anderson and all of the other folks that we're coming to a page close to you guys. Susan Jacobs, we see you there, and Clifton and all the other folks. Do let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear. Clifton says, listening to credible and valid information, loud and clear. Thanks, Clifton and Wendy and all of the other folks who are picking up on our broadcast. Wherever you're joining us from, see Gwyneth is here, Tessa Isaacs is here, Irwin Dawn, Donna and Brenda Moore. Folks, we got lots to share with you, and we ain't got too much time. We don't have too much time to spare. We got some morning papers to get into, folks. And again, the color seems to be a little off a tad bit. We want to get into some of the things we're picking up in the morning papers, folks. You want to touch base on some of those things. And again, just simply delighted that you folks are joining us. Gail Honeycock is here with us. Irwin Don says loud and clear. Good to have you all. Good to have you all here with us this morning. Share the live, smash that emoji button as well. Guys, we got a lot of information to get you. We see Osmond Edwards is joining us. I see Donna McDonald is joining us as well. Leon Blair is here, and some of the other folks. We're happy. We are happy to have all of you guys join us this morning. Siobhan McDonald, Shauna Fortune is here as well. Diane Fordyce is here. And technician Diane says loud and clear. Fennel Innes is here too, and technician Leon. A lot of the technicians on duty this morning are saying loud and clear. And guys, we're just happy. Simply happy that you folks are there with us. We are happy that you folks are joining us this morning. Great to see each and every one of you. And if you give us a quick sec, folks, we can be right with you. We got everything we need lined up, fired up, and ready to go. Everything we need, folks, fired up and ready to go. Pace and power. Good folks, pace and power. And again, we just simply delighted that all of you folks are with us. Simply delighted that all of you fantastic folks are with us. All right. Pace and power, good folks. Pace and power. Pace and power. Great to see each and every one of you. Great to see each and every one of you, wherever you good folks joining us from this morning. We're just happy and delighted to see you guys. We're happy and delighted to see each and every one of you. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to have a go at it? If you guys are ready, we're ready at this end, folks. If you're ready to have a go at it, we're ready. We got lots to share with you folks from the morning papers. Claire Capel, we see you there, and Marcia, Chanel Innes, we see you as well. Paulette Greaves, we see you too, Paulette. and all the other guys joining us. I see Erwin Don. Yvette Juna is here too. Yvette, good morning. Mike says, let's go. Folks, some of the things we are following this morning, some of the things we are tracking. And again, we're just delighted that all of you folks are here with us. Delighted that you folks are out here. You're outside. Great to have each and every one of you guys. Great to have each and every one of you join us today. I gotta move around for just a sec. Gotta move around for just a sec. And yep. Good to have you guys here. Lyndon Jones, we see you there. Shavin Anthony, good to have you, Shavin. And French, surname French, first name look a little tricky for me. Naomi Druck, I ain't gonna be tying up my tongue this morning for nobody. You ain't gonna be tying up my tongue for nobody this morning. But good to have each and every one of you on the live, wherever you guys are joining us from. Good to have each and every one of you on the live. You know how we do it. You know how we say it. We on the live. We are happy to have each and every one of you with us, folks. On the live. And first up, folks, first up, we were in a bad spot. First up, things on the morning papers today. Anil in a bad spot. Yes, yeah, we got lots to discuss with this concern. Anil, after a long time, got to actually work for his keep. He's got to actually work for his keep. Don't come wrong with for no free lunches. No free lunches. And we hear a lot of complaints coming out of the AG. People are going to be taking a very, very serious look at the Attorney General, especially those people who are depending on him to stay in power. Especially those folks who are depending on him to stay in power. And he got to earn his keep now. It's no story start. It's no story start. He got to earn his keep. However, the Attorney General looks at it, folks. And, we saw him quite recently, how would the boys say it? Abusing out, is that how he put it? Annette and Edward Brooms. We've seen, some of this. It's kind of a consistent barrage of attacks now on the judiciary, and it started at a very low level, and now it's kind of building. We mean that crescendo point yet, but it's building up. It's building up there. It's coming up. It's coming up to that point. It's coming up to that point. So one of the first things we're following this morning in this regard. One of the first things we're following, take a look at this. This is one of those things that we're following in this regard. The AG says that there's going to be consultation to the strengthening of the Local Content Act. Ann Nelson, right? Good to have you, Ann, and we'll be here this evening, Ann. We'll be here this evening. Donna Daly and all the. Don't I look much fresher? From a good full day of sleep and so on. Don't I look a little fresher, folks? Light to me, man. Talk to me softly, somebody. Talk to me softly. Yeah. So this is one of the headlines we're seeing this morning in the morning papers, that the AG announces consultations for the strengthening of the Local Content Act. Now, folks, this is one of the very things that got me and some other colleagues suspended from the National Assembly, because we protested vehemently in the National Assembly last December that this Local Content Act should be sent to a select committee. But them boys didn't listen, Dolly. Ingrid Crawford, those boys weren't listening. Orvin Dunn, Chanel Wills, right? These boys didn't listen. Chanel, it is because I went to Bartico. Chanel said, you didn't sleep, you were in Bartico. It's because we had all the time in Bartico. We needed some rest and this and afterwards. We told them send the legislation to a select committee, but they didn't hear it. They didn't hear, folks, they weren't hearing. That's what telling you they didn't hear in. But we outside now. Now they want to consult, right, on amendments and so on, right? Revise the local content legislation. You know, some of you believe we knew that in the National Assembly, we shouldn't be there. That's one of the reasons we're there. We warned them, right? We warned them. We warned them. But they didn't listen. They didn't listen. Now they got to go back. Why? Because the private sector has been saying, since they passed this Local Content Act, since they passed it, the private sector has been saying, we're not benefiting from this thing. Friends, family, favorites, and foreigners benefiting from it. Right? Friends, family, and favorites benefiting from it, but we're not benefiting from it. So Anil now got to come and go back to the drawing board in a tough spot. And that's just one of the things on his plate. He actually got work for the money now. Actually, he's been a little distracted, you know, building stuff and, you know, buildings on the whole. He's been a little distracted. But the Attorney General now got to come back and actually do the work. You think they were installed for nothing? At least y'all could pretend that y'all doing a little work. Folks, we told them, right? We told them, go back to the drawing board. Let us do it together. Put this Local Content Act, in a special select committee. But they don't like listen. They don't like listen. And you all know what the old people say. Right? What's sweet a goat mouth? Paulette, Kenrick Verwin, Annette Cummins. What's sweet in goat mouth? Well, they sweet in the mouth. The Local Content Act. Ram it through the National Assembly. And now they got to come back and make amendments to it. You see? They're big. But they ain't get too much topside. They don't have too much topside. They're just big, folks. They're big. But them boys ain't got too much topside, you know. And then there was the recent Winston Jordan case that was dismissed, you know. Misconduct in public office. That was the charge. Well, folks, your boy Anil had a mouthful to say, right? Your boy Anil had a mouthful to say. You know, it seems that it's all well and good for them to criticize the judiciary, you know, in the harshest of manners, right? It's good for them to do it. But they don't want to afford anybody else. You see, we apparently don't have the right. Right? Apparently, the folks would say, we apparently don't have that privilege. But they said that they have this right. Right? They have this right. And they can. I tell you what the folks tell us. That they have a right. I don't know who gave them this right. But that is what they say. They have a right. And they can. Well, I'm going to play the clip for you. And I want you to hear them. Hear Mr. AG in a private program that he has. You know, wailing to the judge. Well, the magistrate. You know, Leron Daly. And this is concerning that bogus fraud charge that was brought against the former Minister of Finance. And folks, when you hear it, you know, we're going to come back on the other side We're going to come back on the other side of it, and we're going to discuss a couple of things. Because it's the hypocrisy for some of us, you know? It's the hypocrisy for some of us on these issues. And I pointed out one of them already. They believe they have a birthright and a vested right. They have a birthright and a vested right to assault the judiciary. Right? They have that right, and then that's not extended to everybody else. In this one Guyana of ours, that is extended to everybody else. You know, if you say something, oh, no. That's sinful. You know folks like that? Your sins are darker than night, than midnight. And for them, they can excuse anything that they do. They can excuse anything that they do. Well, it's these boys. These boys. And so in the program, I think 2 nights ago, y'all boy, the AG unleashed on the magistrate, unleashed on the judiciary by extension. You see, in a tough spot, because it's going on 3 years now. It's going to be 3 years in a couple of months. They like to go there and talk about rigged elections. Right? And they get a COI to joke up some things in their favor, put in some people in the COI, left out a whole host of others. But they ain't get one conviction in the courts yet. All of those fraud charges. So he's vexed. Because Irfan and Jack must be asking me, is what we pay you all these millions a month to do? You know, why are we making all these concessions for you, Anil? Right? What do you have to show for it? What do you have to show for it? And that's why he's in a tight spot. It's interesting. He went on his personal program on a tirade, depends which school he went to. You know, he went on a tirade there. He went on a tirade. You see, I surprised. He went in NCN, he went in the Chronicle, he went in DPI. All this waste, apparently. All the state media. This is a sitting AG, right? This is a sitting AG. A sitting AG. A sitting AG. And he ain't got none of the government stations. None of them. And your own personal program. And then he wails into the magistracy, wailed into the judiciary. Folks, it's the hypocrisy for us. But you dare not do it. You dare not, utter a word. Dare not utter a word in your own defense. But he believes that he got special rights and privileges. See? And they make accommodations for that. They make all kinds of accommodations. So, wailed into Leron Daly, you see, because the pressure now is building on him. 3 years later, Sister Mercy, Annette Cummins, Yolanda, right? 3 years later, Faye, Seymour George, and they didn't get one conviction from any of those trumped up charges. Right? The folks are trying to get that piece of footage for us. Oh, when Dan said, take the face off the screen. You're going to listen to them. You want to listen how they operate and try to operate with impunity. And in this one Guyana, you see, they use a different yardstick to justify their own actions. to justify their own actions. It is fascinating. I wonder the diplomatic corps, when those ambassadors meet and so on, how they talk about us. I can show you all how Boris, former British Prime Minister, spoke about some of his colleagues. He's talking about us the same way. Right? Boris Johnson, he had a couple of nice adjectives. But I don't know if I want to characterize him as nice. He had a couple of adjectives. For his colleagues, could you imagine? So look this one here. Anil, what kind of nonsense? What kind of age is he? Could you imagine how they talk about us? What kind of age is he? I can imagine how they talk about us. One can imagine. Folks, I want you to listen to some of what the sitting AG said about the magistracy. Right? Listen to it. Don't get vexed yet. Listen. And listen to what he said about the judiciary as well. He said because these cases are being dealt with a certain way, which to me supposes a kind of conspiracy in the magistracy, in the judiciary, by extension. Right? And that is very, very damning. That is very, very damning. Take a listen to some of what your boy had to say. Take a listen.
Case involved a charge of misconduct in public office instituted against former Minister of Finance Winston Jordan. The transaction to which give rise to the charge was the sale and transferal of title of a wharf, government's asset. Today, a magistrate ruled accepting a no-case submission, ruled that Mr. Jordan is not a public officer and therefore could not have committed that offense. Misconduct in public office requires the person who is the subject of the charge to be a public officer in law. And the magistrate ruled that Mr. Jordan, as Minister of Finance, did not fall within the definition of who is a public officer for the purpose of this charge. How can a government, how can the state, how can the public, how can a sitting attorney general with responsibility for justice not be critical of such a ruling? A ruling that from all indications is one that is palpably, patently, and outrageously wrong. How do you get the public, how do you secure the public confidence when you have rulings of this type? And if this was an isolated ruling, then, one could have found it a little malleable. But it is not an isolated ruling. Many of the cases arising out of the elections, and many cases in which political personalities are charged, are treated in a particular way. And cases involving the ordinary Guyanese are treated differently. Magistrates are going to extreme lengths in recusing themselves from hearing these cases on the flimsiest of reasons and basis. These cases are unduly adjourned and protracted. And here it is, if I was in doubt, or if the public was in doubt about the approach of these magistrates in these cases, you have this ruling which dissipates the doubts. And in my humble view, sends a clear message, which is not a healthy message for the administration of justice. It is not a healthy message for the administration of justice. The state will decide what remedial actions will be taken. That's a matter for the Director of Public Prosecutions and those who instituted the charge. That's a different arm of the state. That doesn't fall within the purview of the government. But this matter involves a substantial piece of real estate of the state. And in any event, the government is entitled to express a view critical of the judiciary when the occasion warrants it. And this occasion certainly warrants it. The case...
So that of course was the Attorney General, as we were discussing on his personal program. You know, that's his personal program, talking about, you know, the bad message. The dismissal of this charge against the former finance minister is sending, he said, a bad message. You know, he says it doesn't augur well for the administration of justice. It was a big piece of real estate. That's what he said. You heard him, Gwyneth Anderson, Naomi Drucker. He sends a bad message for the administration of justice. It was a big piece. It was a big piece of real estate. This is the same fellow who the Caribbean Court of Justice just a couple of weeks ago said he brought the entire administration of justice of the court into disrepute. Same fellow. The same banner, as we say colloquially, same banner. You know, the court said he brought the entire administration of justice, the Caribbean Court of Justice, our apex court, same fellow. But he's worried, you know, about the message that's being sent for the administration of justice when he don't undermine it, according to the Caribbean Court of Justice. He brought, I've never heard the Caribbean Court, the CCJ, spoke like that about any attorney but Anil Nandilal. He brought the entire administration of justice of the Caribbean Court, but he lashingly run daily. Same banner, same fellow. Right? Same fellow. I can remember he had some charges that were dropped by the same DPP. You remember the law books? How long was that? You remember those charges on the law books? Ashley Singh, Winston Brassington, the High Court, same court, told us there were substantial issues to be tried. But their land matters, you all remember that? Huge tracts of land, same court. Those charges were dropped by the DPP. Not so. Not so. Irfan Ali had 19 fraud charges. 19. He had those charges dropped. Claudette Singh, who swing, she had her private criminal charges dropped as well. Let him back for the administration of justice. You know? The common man, don't get their charges dropped. Don't get their charges dropped like that. They got theirs dropped, but he worried about the common man. And the message. That's what he's worried about. He's worried about the common man. And the message, he said that it's sending. You see these fellas here? You see these fellas here? If you worry with them, we got to worry with them though. Because they're trying to hoodwink. He can't get a conviction because there's nothing there. There is nothing there. Political prosecution. They got Val in court. You know, Chris Jones. Who else they got? A whole set of people. David Patterson, me, and others. Carol Smith Joseph. Whole set of people. Can't get no conviction. Lowenfield, Mingo. Can't get a conviction. So he vex. He vex. He vex by the fraud signatures. We hear peep out to them. On the nomination forms, all them that gone forward at GCOM, not a peep out to them about those issues, but he vex. Folks, if you worry with them, look some other things we're tracking, guys, on the morning papers today. Some other issues we're trying to find. As we mentioned, local government. As we mentioned, local government, folks, look some of the other things we're tracking. Where that's concerned, they're telling us that GCOM has received numerous applications for observer status. I hope we got proper observers, because we had some observers the last time. Soon election done, the U.S. renditioned them. Well, the U.S. didn't rendition them. They landed on U.S. soil and they're spending some time in Rikers Island. Guests of the state. All them was observers. All of them was observers. Spending time at Rikers Island now. You know, some observers are well compensated now. Some observers get advisor to the government. Some observers brought back looking real nice. Some observers brought back looking real nice. So I hope we got some proper observers. Proper observers this time around. You got to watch them. You got to watch them. You see? Got to watch them. This is another update for LG. They're telling us that the joint services, their preparations for LG on the way. Right? Fraud happening in front we face every day. Observers and seeing, joint services. But they tell us their preparations on the way. Preparations on the way. And finally, folks, in the morning papers, one of the headlines we're pulling out in the morning papers, this was something else. This was something else. They tell us a rape accused made a dramatic effort to escape. A dramatic effort to escape. And that's the CCTV camera footage that we're picking up. We don't know what he and the policeman were discussing in the corridors of the High Court yesterday. Then you want to make a dash for it. People jumping through window, people jumping, over the court banister. Like, I don't know if he had 3 beer and 2 Guinness. We don't know. But the man made a dash for it. Take a look. Take a listen. Yep. we got quite a country, folks. You know, we got quite a country. Leaping over tall buildings. we got quite a country. I seen somebody say, Mike says, run Forrest. You know, a refrain from the film Forrest Gump. They call me Forrest Gump. Right? That look like a second story. Second story, the High Court. Man jump over the banister like nothing. And land on his feet like a cat. And gone. You know, we're pleased to report that he was recaptured shortly after. So he tasted the air, his taste of the air of freedom was short-lived. They said he was on a rape charge. That's some of the information we're picking up where that is concerned. The man made us. Folks, folks, if you had to jump out a window or two in your time, I don't know if you want to put in the comments there. Jumper. You've ever had to jump through a window? You know, you've ever had to jump over a banister? Let us know. You might want to put in the comments there, jumper. You know, let us know who you are. Brazen attempt. That is a brazen attempt. Brazen attempt. Man landed on his feet like a cat. All right? You could tell that's not his first rodeo. That's not his first rodeo. They said he was accused of rape. And this is he's back in custody. The accused, Warren George, was on bail for the charges of rape and assault. When he asked to use a washroom, that's what the report's telling us. And on his way to the washroom, he leapt over the rails of the High Court corridor in a dramatic attempt to escape. Yep. Yep. Criminal elements ain't taking a day off, folks. The criminal elements not taking a day off. Those are just a couple of the headlines that we plucked out of the morning papers. How things happening by your side. Those are a couple of the headlines, folks. We want to turn your attention now to some of the things we are following internationally, some of the things we're following in the region, and then we can circle back to some of what we're following here as well. Some other news on this site that we're following, but those were some of the information we plucked out of the morning papers. Look at some of the other things, guys, that we're following, and let's pick it up from some of the stuff we're following internationally. A baby, folks, listen to me. I tell you, when father say you're going to live, you're going to live. Sheila Boy Child, Tessa Isaacs. When father say you're going to live, you're going to live. You know, and all the other guys joining us. Look story here now, man. Look story here. They're telling us a baby is among 4 persons, right, who survived the plane crash in the Amazon 17 days after the plane went down. They found them. They had a huge search and rescue operation, right? And these 4 children, you know, kept that baby. And this is in dense jungle, the Amazon. I want you all know, when father say you're gonna live, you're gonna live. The mother of the baby died in the crash, the pilot and a couple of other folks, right? They were going from point A to B in a Cessna when the plane radioed that it had engine troubles and went down in the Amazon, right? Crashed. Pilot died, the mother of the kids died. Some other folks perished as well. 4 children and the baby. Honest word, make it out. Make it out. You know, our life, we existence, independent on these jagabats we got to deal with, you know. You know, that's what we gotta keep recognizing the Father about. When he said we gonna make it, we gonna make it. This is fascinating. Fascinating. 17 days is not one. In dense jungle, one of the things they said they did, they recorded the children's grandmother because they were tracking them. They saw like fruits and so on that they would stop and pick and eat and so on as they were trying to track them. The grandmother, they recorded the grandmother telling them to stop moving. right? They were tracking them 17 days, and they would fly planes and blast via loudspeaker the grandmother's voice. Stop moving. Stop moving. Fascinating. 17 days in the wilderness, 4 children and a baby. And we can't survive out here. We make a bigger sense. How much more us if you got the Father on your side? I love it. I love it. I feel inspired personally. I see Chen Sudhari say, God is great. Donald McDonald says, when God says yes, nobody can say no. Amen to that, sister. Amen to that. Where's the verse? Where's the scripture? Maxine and all the other folks. Personally inspired by that. Well, the Harry and Meghan, well, not the Harry and Meghan, Harry and Meghan, they said they were in a near catastrophic, they were in a near catastrophic car chase. Again, harkening back to how Harry's mother met her demise. Well, some folks are playing down. It didn't really happen. They said they were in a 2-hour car chase in Manhattan, left an event and were trying to get to someplace else. And the paparazzis wouldn't let them be great by themselves. See, the paparazzis wouldn't let them be great. Right? Some people are saying, it wasn't all of that. The people said they were in a near catastrophic car chase. If they say so, I believe them. If they say so, I believe them. You know, paparazzis, humble Tate. Humble Tate paparazzis. Humble Tate. That's what the folks said. I was talking to you about Boris as we started the program. Boris Johnson, former Prime Minister of the UK. Boris said that Macron was Putin's lip-spittle. Lick-spittle, whatever that. What does that mean, folks? You know, where's Mia Miller and the other folks from Europe? What does lick-spittle means? I am assuming it's not nothing good. Right? He said Macron was a lick-spittle, and he was a first letter C, 2 letters in between, and a T at the end. Yes, it's early morning. Macron, right? That's why I said to you, imagine how them, you know, the foreign diplomats must talk about, handle them when they see the foolishness, right? Chinsing Henry said, Boris grieving, that too. Kishan, I said 2 letters in between. Oh, Kishan different, you know. Some of you are different. Some of you are different. That's what Boris said, according to an ex-aide. You know, is when they left office, then real stories bust out. Right? But if Boris would say that of Macron, I'm trying to remember how a colleague I have in Europe who lives in France calls the name. It's a little different from the way we pronounce it. Flatly in the English, right? But that's what the folks are saying. You can imagine how them boys is talking about Irfan. Boris must get some choice adjectives for Irfan. Because if Macron is a lick-spittle, you know, among other things, could you imagine what they must say of Irfan and the others, Irfan and co. Yeah, Boris for you, never dull moment. Never dull moment. Montana, folks, the final thing internationally, Montana becomes the first state, they tell us, in the US to ban TikTok on personal devices. You know, they've been talking about this. They had that hearing with the TikTok CEO and all that. And they felt the Chinese too much in the business, too much in the data. Data is the new currency, folks. Right? Data, too much. They want to ban it nationally. Montana leads the way. No TikTok on your personal devices in Montana. I'm sorry. The seller Roman, right? Gwen Anderson. Gwen Anderson got the description. Montana, don't come wrong with TikTok. Watch and see how that goes. We're gonna watch regionally, folks. Regionally, a couple of things we want to highlight. Guatemala got its own issues. Politically, they had an earthquake. 6.4. 6.4. Yep, that's a big quake. They said only slight tremors felt in Belize. All are involved. Our late great poet Martin Carter would say, all are consumed. Global Village, 6.4. Tremors felt in Belize. Thoughts and prayers with the folks there in Guatemala. Yep, and Belize. Haiti. Haiti, things getting worse in Haiti. Carrie, come. What are you doing? Right? What are you doing? I'm hearing that song by David Rudd in my head. Haiti, I'm sorry. We misunderstood you. Yeah. Haiti, it says, sees a rise of vigilante justice and gang violence soars. Haiti, where are we as a humanity? Huh? What is CARICOM for, if not for this? Haiti is a sister state, a CARICOM member state. You know, is it a failed state yet? Probably just on the periphery of that. What are we doing? Vigilante justice, gang violence soars. That's what they're telling us. Haiti, yeah. Ecuador pulled the Ramatar. Ecuador pulled the PPP. They were about to have a no confidence motion drop in the backside. Pro-parliament, they pulled the PPP. Yep. Major political tremors in the nation. I'll show you why just now. I pointed in a second why. Some of the reason why we're not too far from that. They pulled the PPP. Remember 2015, they're about to get a no confidence drop in them by Moses Nagamutu, led by the Alliance for Change. No confidence in the tail. Prorogue the parliament. Well, that was a harbinger of things to come. Yeah. Ecuador, same story. So they're heading to a new election there. Well, you know the old story. CXC, somebody leaked the math paper. Folks. Somebody leaked the math paper. You know? Integrity is something else. People didn't leak itself. They didn't say people hacked the system. Somebody leaked the math paper. Sheila Boychild wonder who taking, who talking. Somebody leaked the math paper. You can make it bad for a whole set of people now. Right? Make it bad for a lot of people. Trinidad. Regional reports telling us Trinidad has scored very low on the rule of law survey. Very low on this survey. This survey is carried out by an international organization. And we do to heart myself. Majority of people living in these countries, this is Latin America and the Caribbean, majority of people believe that top government officials attack and discredit the media and civil society organization based on this report. Does that sound familiar? Good folks, does that sound familiar? This survey is done by the World Justice Project. This is the Rule of Law Survey of 2022. These are the results. The Rule of Law Survey of 2022 is done by the World Justice Project. Majority of governments, majority of people rather, let me call it how it is here, believe that top government officials attack or discredit the media and civil society organizations. That's what he said. Another thing the report pointed out, get inclusive here. Sounds familiar? But y'all lie. Y'all telling lie on them boys. World Justice Rule of Law report, World Justice, let me get the name of the organization, World Justice Project. A majority of people believe top executive branch officials are working to weaken influence or disobey the judiciary. That sounds familiar. Horace Calder, Gwyneth Kishan, who shared it live? Folks, y'all shared it live. There hundreds of you have tuned into our morning program, and we're grateful for that. Hundreds of you. We're so thankful for that. Share it live. Smash that emoji button, folks, so that we get valid, credible information. If exhaustion don't take me off the air, it can be financial reasons too. So ensure you partner with us because we like teetering on the brink. Teetering on the brink. So ensure you partner with us as well. A majority of people believe top executive branch officials are working to weaken, influence, or disobey the judiciary. Does that sound familiar? And here is another one. Trust in government officials and elected representatives is generally low across Latin America and the Caribbean. You understand what's happening now in Ecuador? You think you understand? No confidence motion, trust in government officials. Corruption. Right? A top concern in the Caribbean region, based on this survey done by the World Justice Report on the rule of law, corruption. And I quote from the report, in terms of fundamental freedoms, fewer people, listen to this now, fewer people believe their freedoms of expression, political participation, election, and religion are guaranteed in the Bahamas, Guyana, Jamaica, and Suriname compared to the last year of the data collection. Fewer people. Again, fewer people believe their freedom of expression, political participation, election, religion are guaranteed in the Bahamas, Guyana, Jamaica, Suriname. And this is compared to the last year. The World Justice Project collected data. Yep. Sounds familiar, folks? I have also Pim Pim. Yeah. In the 592, folks. Here's in the program time. In the 592, look what we're covering here. Adrian Alicott, young Guyanese in the diaspora, outran all of the children in his school in Canada. His parents and the administrators of the school are superbly proud. They said he has a bright future. We go out and we do well. You know, congrats to Adrian, lives in Canada. Young Adrian Alcock, he's 11 years old. Beating them up bad on the track. Beating them up real bad on the track. You know, so congrats to Adrian and his parents. Yep. Crime continues to soar. Be telling you all, them boys getting desperate. You saw the man spring up the court balcony and land on your foot. You saw that? Well, to get this schoolboy cell phone from him, them boys rip off his pants. Kaiser News is reporting, rip this school child pants off right here. Rip his pants off. Pockets too deep. Them boys can't wait. Taking too long. Ripped his pants off. Crime. Robson reported Kaiser News. Reported Kaiser News, Robson. Clifton Hickens, reported Kaiser News. Somebody saw that end. Yep. Caregiver receives 8 years for raping girl in her care. Oh. She maintained her innocence. She says she's being framed. You know, according to the information that we saw, the reports out there. She said she's being framed. She's innocent. The girl's mother, the child's mother says she's traumatized. You know? Gabriella Allen, known as Gabby, 20-year-old from Wismar. Gabriella says she's being framed. 8 years. Court says that found her guilty of the offense in accordance with Section 10 of the Sexual Offences Act. Right? Of raping this young lady that was entrusted into her care. You know? Yeah, that's the country we're living in, sadly. Sadly, that's the country we're living in. Very sad. Look at us following, folks. What happened with the Press Association? Oh, them boys got tentacles. And so they can't control it. They can destroy it now. Well, I saw the former head of the Ghana Press Association, Enrico Wolford, came out swinging. He says, the Press Association must ensure any attempt to undermine it. You're soundly defeated. Soundly defeated. Saw Kit Nascimento run out yesterday too. You know, talking about lists and lists. Former Secretary of the Ghana Press Association said, never in the past has any list been issued before an election. But you see, they got different strokes for different folks. Like the same folks who want abuse out the judiciary, but you try to do it. You try to do it. You see? You try to, different strokes. Enrico Wolford says, the association must ensure attempts to undermine it soundly defeated. Neil Marks came up with a whole tirade. Marshall, in a long letter herself in the press yesterday, says a pack of lies. That's what she said. Here's a pack of lies. I see your boy Ruel run out too. He got a letter in the Times today on the same issue. Yeah, he has a letter too in the Times papers today. All right. He couldn't make it at Kaitra News. He drinking soup by them boys now. He got a letter in which he says, which he talks about, I wonder if I have the phrase correctly. He talks about Svetlana, he refers to Svetlana Marshall's letter to the editor as an enlightening piece of political pseudo-journalism. That's what your boy Ruel says. An enlightening piece of pseudo-journalism. You know, you would think he learned a lesson with slander, libel, and so on. You would think, right, that he learned a lesson with slander and libel. You know, I saw that Ariana Gordon was elected to the Ghana Press Association. I wish Ariana would talk about some things that happened with her. And this fella here, you know, with he kind of journalism when she was chief reporter at Chronicle. I wish Ariana Gordon, you know, he talking about pseudo-journalism. He would know. He would know. I wish Ariana Gordon would talk about pseudo-journalism. Right? I wish. Naomi Drucker says that Gordon gave Ruel the famous Gordon clap back online. So he went to time, send me a screenshot now, man. Send me a screenshot now, Naomi. Don't leave me out in the cold. And I was resting for a couple hours, you know. Don't do me that. Send me the screenshot now. Yeah, he run out. I want Ariana Gordon to talk about the pseudo journalism he wanted to practice at the Chronicle. Now they've gone so far down the Chronicle. Right? He would know about pseudo journalism. He would know about it. All right? So we got to resist it. That's what veteran journalist and former president of the association said, Enrico Wolford. They gotta resist it. And again, where we started is the way we're going to conclude. This parent guarantee. This parent guarantee. We saw Jack Leo abusing up Justice Sandal Kissoon the same way Anna was abusing up Leron Daly. Because the judgment and fit well with them. You know, the judge went another way, the magistrate went another way. So they vex. They come out swinging. Parent guarantee. You know, they're telling us that this is to feature at the next AGM of ExxonMobil. This is a piece of reporting coming out of Starbucks News. Right? It's to feature next. This and the judgment as well. And they're telling us some reporting out of the Guardian, UK Guardian, closer to where Mia is and all the other folks on that side. You know, Naomi and co. Right? Ayabo and co. Right? The UK Guardian has picked up on this, and the UK Guardian says lots of oil exploration. Watching this, you better come straight. You know, we might be poor, we might be desperate. And we not working for live and try to kill myself. Some of you are going to understand that in a couple of days from now. You don't got to try to live by trying to kill yourself at the same time. And this is what the UK Guardian said on this matter. You remember they said, Jagdi and them boys said this 600 million plus 8 billion from ESOP, the local company that they create to manage the operations here. 600 million and the 8 billion should be enough. That's what they said. That's all. It should be enough. Guardian says the 600 million, which it says is 481 million pounds insurance policy for EEPGL, that's the local company ExxonMobil created to manage your operations here, right? The 600 million insurance policy, right? EEPGL holds for Exxon, right? Holds for Exxon's wholly owned subsidiary, Ancon UK Limited, and its 2 billion parent company guarantee is well below the potential cost of damages for a catastrophic event. The Guardian in the UK, right? It says it's well below the potential cost of damages for a catastrophic event. That's what the folks said. That's what they said. Well below what would cost. And then it quoted some other disasters you had. You know, the deep water disaster and the cost. I think deep water was 68 billion. We got a 8 billion and a 600 million set aside. Right? And ExxonMobil's own study says 12 Caribbean countries could be impacted if we have an event happening out there. 12 Caribbean countries. $8 billion won't even begin to scratch the surface. Won't even begin to scratch the surface. And so, this is where we are. This is where we are. You know by now that the folks have gone to the Court of Appeal on this matter. The Court of Appeal has not stayed the judgment, so they got to go and get insurance. The matter is going to come up, though, for hearing in the Court of Appeal on, I think, the 28th of this month, a couple of days from now. You know? Yep. But that's where we are where it's concerned. Folks, hundreds of you are watching us at home here in Guyana, the Caribbean, and further afield. You know, thanks for joining us this morning. Share that live. Wherever you're joining us from, share the live, folks. Smash that emoji button for us as well. Wherever you're rocking and coming from this morning, we want others to get valid, credible information, good folks. And we dare ask that you partner with us as well. This is how we'll do more of these programs. All right? One day you can come in a whole month, 3, 4, 5 months we are here, and you can know why. Finances run down. Finances run down. If you can, folks, we ain't building mansions. We ain't buying fancy cars. We ain't eating Wagyu. Every cent that people send to us as a gift, we invest back in this program to keep it going. All right? To keep the doors open, the lights on. So partner with us. We're available via Cash App for those of you who are in the diaspora. Cash App and Zelle and PayPal. MMG. MoneyGram, Western Union as well. Right? Good folks. You have a query? 627-6963. That's going to do it for us this morning, guys. That's going to do it for us at this end. Thanks for joining us this morning. We are totally privileged to have you guys at this end. Totally privileged to have you guys with us this morning. Thanks for joining us. Go ahead and have a great, big, fantastic day. Glenford Gordon and Maria Vera, Ayabo, Margaret Nelson. See you later, Margaret. Margaret says see you later. I can see you later too, Margaret. Right? Yolanda Thomas, Marlene, and Keith and Glenford. Dance Hall. All these fancy names. Ainsworth Mason, good to see you as well. And Donna McDonald, Carol Rollins, great to see you. Ayabo, Yolanda, and all the other folks. Before you go, share the live. You might even get a little $5 to send for us. No big thing. We come up there. Fair enough. But let me look at today's program. Share the live so others get valid, credible information. Do that for us. Good to see each and every one of you. And folks, thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. And thanks for your generosity as well. Thanks. Best to Hardy, we see you there, Margaret Nelson and Siobhan and Fidel Albert. Good to have you. Neon and Yolanda, Donna, and all the other good folks joining us. Thanks for joining us. We superbly privileged. Thank you so much. That's going to do it for us. That's my time, good folks. And that's our program. Fidel and Yolanda. International lawyer Selman Peters, we see you as well, Chief. We see you as well. You owe us an interview, you know. Come on, pay up. You owe us an interview. Pay up. Stanbourne and Gwinnett. International lawyer Selman Peters, thanks for stopping by, Chief. Respect and manners. And all the other folks, respect and manners to y'all as well. You know, all of you good folks who came by this morning. Stay safe out there. That's me time. That's our program. Stay safe.